In the previous class, we were discussing about the effects of force in terms of pressure, and we learned about atmospheric pressure and fluid pressure also, and the applications that atmospheric pressure has on us. Now today we are starting a new chapter, friction. This is chapter number 12 in your course books, and the outline of this chapter are: first, we will learn about the force of friction, its definition, which we have already done in the previous chapter. Secondly, we will be learning about the factors that affect the force of friction. Next, we will learn what is the cause of friction. Then, friction, a necessary evil. Here we will learn that how friction is important in our lives and how friction is a disastrous enemy for various energy concerns in our life. Next, we will learn methods of decreasing friction. Wherever friction is not good for us, there we will learn how friction can be reduced by different methods. And then we will learn what are the various methods of increasing friction. Wherever friction is required, how can we increase friction in those cases. Next, we will learn fluid friction, friction which is offered by fluids, and streamlining. Streamlining is a shape which is provided to the objects which pass through the fluids. So let us look back again into the concept of friction. So what is friction? Friction is a type of contact force, and this contact force comes into play whenever there is relative motion or impending motion between two surfaces. So I have used two terms here. One is impending motion and one is relative motion. So let us see what do we mean by the terms impending motion and relative motion. So just look at this example. Suppose this is the floor, and here on the floor there is a heavy cupboard kept on the floor, and you are trying to push the cupboard so that it moves in the direction of your applied force. Suppose you are applying some amount of force, you are applying 1 Newton, you find that the cupboard does not move. You apply 2 Newton, you find that the cupboard does not move. Suppose you don't apply any force at all, then also the cupboard does not move. So what is happening in these three cases? Let us see. Suppose you are not applying any force. When there is no force on the cupboard, then in that case, weight of the cupboard is balanced by the normal reaction. So this is the first condition. Now what happens if you increase the force, you start applying some force and find that the cupboard does not move. Suppose you are applying a force of 1 Newton and you find that the cupboard does not move. What does it mean? You are pushing it here and it is not moving. It means that there must be some opposite force of equal amount from this side also, which is not allowing it to move. Which force it can be? This is the force of friction. And which friction it should be? It should be static friction. Static friction, as I told you in the previous class also, that static word is used for stationary. So if the cupboard does not move in such a condition, then it is static friction which is stopping the cupboard from moving. Suppose you keep on increasing your force. You increase your force to 1, then you make it 1.2, 1.3 Newton, 1.4 Newton and so on, and you still find that the cupboard does not move. It means that the static friction is also increasing by the same amount. So what do we see? That static friction is adjusting its value according to the applied force. Why I am taking this all under this heading is, when you apply some force, there is a tendency of motion. Motion हो सकता है इस direction में, हो सकता है वाले मोशन को हम impending motion कहते हैं. जब हमने 1 न्यूटन, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4 न्यूटन लगाया तो फोर्स हो सकता है, impending motion हो सकता है, लेकिन यहाँ पे फ्रिक्शन है, उसे रोक रहा है. कौन सा फ्रिक्शन है? वो एक क्लासिफिकेशन है उसका कि स्टैटिक फ्रिक्शन रोक रहा है, लेकिन फ्रिक्शन इसे रोक रहा है. तो हम ये देख रहे हैं कि फ्रिक्शन क्या कर रहा है? फ्रिक्शन इज opposing the impending motion in this case. And another important thing that we see is friction is adjusting its value according to the applied force. Then what happens? Suddenly at some value of 1.5 Newton, you find that it starts moving. Then what does it mean? That at the value of 1.5 Newton, you have just overcome the friction which is stopping this cupboard to move, and you are able to move or drag that cupboard. So here in this case, this 1.5 Newton is the maximum value of static friction, and this is known as limiting friction. Limiting friction means that this is the limiting value of friction or the maximum value of static friction offered by this surface to this cupboard to stop or to oppose the impending motion of the cupboard. So with this we can conclude that impending motion is opposed by a friction which is known as static friction. Impending motion is opposed by static friction. And what else have we observed about static friction is that it is self-adjusting. More you apply force, more is the value of static friction that is offered by the surface in contact. Next we have seen that maximum value of static friction is known as limiting friction. This all content is not actually given in your textbook, children, but I am teaching you because there is a question asked at the chapter end which you will be able to answer if you know this concept very well, and understanding of this concept will help you to design an activity also which is asked in the question. Now we will see how friction opposes relative motion. Relative motion means that whatever surfaces are there in contact, suppose both my palms are, I keep them like this in contact with each other, and if I try to move them over each other, so they are said to be moving in relation to each other. Relative motion का मतलब होता है एक surface का दूसरे surface के ऊपर, या suppose I rub my right hand with respect to my left hand, so I can also say that left hand is moving with respect to right, or I can say that right hand is moving with respect to left. Same is the condition here. Suppose this is a child sitting on a slide at the top. When he slides down, we can say that the child is sliding down or moving down, whereas the top portion of the slide is moving back or away from the child. So whenever there is some relative motion between two surfaces in contact, we find that some opposition comes into play, and this opposition is known as force of friction due to relative motion. And force of friction due to relative motion can be of two types. One can be sliding friction as in case of moving on a slide or rubbing your hands together or trying to push a cupboard on the surface and it starts moving on the surface. These are the cases where sliding friction comes into play or kinetic friction comes into play. There is another category called rolling friction. So rolling friction is also arising due to relative motion between two surfaces. Common example, suppose you are going somewhere in a car, the friction offered between the friction between the surface in contact and the wheels of the car, this is rolling friction, and both of them have arisen due to relative motion between the surfaces in contact. Only difference is that here the surfaces are relatively flat and rolling friction is there whenever the objects are round or spherical in shape. So both of them are due to this. So we will be learning about their cause in the next section. To understand the cause of friction, I am showing you these two brushes which I have made them in contact with each other. These brushes are representing the surfaces which are kept in contact, whichever surface you are keeping in contact. For example, आप एक बुक को टेबल पे रख रहे हो या किसी और ऑब्जेक्ट को आप अपने इरेजर को अपने पेंसिल बॉक्स पे रख रहे हो, कोई भी दो सरफेसेस जब कांटेक्ट में होती हैं तो माइक्रोस्कोपिक लेवल पर वो स्मूथ नहीं होती जैसा कि ये पार्ट दिख रहा है, बट वो इरेगुलर होती है जैसे कि यहाँ से हमें दिख रहा है. तो जब भी दो सरफेसेस irregularities of the surfaces, they come in contact like this. So these irregularities somehow they interlock with each other. जब ये दोनों इंटरलॉक हो जाती हैं, अब आप देखिए मैं इसको जब स्लाइड करती हूँ, आई एम टिल्टिंग दिस ब्रश अ लिटिल. You can see that the upper brush is not able to move from the lower brush. After applying some greater inclination, then it might drop down also. अभी तो नहीं गिर रहा है, लेकिन हाँ, at certain inclination it may drop down. But this will not be easy if I change the surfaces in contact like this. अभी मैं ये surface को अगर contact में करती हूँ, तो यहाँ पर ये surfaces are comparatively smoother, relatively very smoother as compared to these ones. तो जब मैं इनको कांटेक्ट में लेकर के आती हूँ और अब मैं अगर इसको उठाती हूँ लोअर ब्रश को, तो वी सी दैट द फर्स्ट वन स्लाइड्स वेरी इजीली. तो इससे हमें क्या पता लगता है? इससे हमें दो बातें पता लगती हैं. फर्स्ट थिंग इज दैट फ्रिक्शन अराइजेस ड्यू टू इरेगुलरिटीज और वी कैन से interlocking of irregularities between the surfaces in contact. पहली चीज हमने देखी कि फ्रिक्शन क्यों हो रहा है, बिकॉज ऑफ इंटरलॉकिंग. दूसरी बात हमने ये देखी कि इंटरलॉकिंग या सरफेसेस अगर स्मूथ हैं, स्मूथ सरफेसेस हैव lesser irregularities and therefore lesser interlocking, due to which lesser friction or lesser opposition is offered between the surfaces. So by learning this thing, we have actually concluded about two things. One is what is the cause of friction. This is the cause of friction. Another thing that you have learned is what are the factors that affect friction. You can see that one of the factor is that if the surfaces are smooth, friction will be lesser. If the surfaces are rough, because of more interlocking, the friction will be more. What are the factors that affect the force of friction? First factor that I have written is normal reaction. This might sound a little odd to you, but this is the correct point. That is why I have written this one. Easier way to express this is if I say that weight of the body determines the amount of friction. जैसे suppose एक heavy box है और एक light box है. Both are lying on the floor. This is a heavy box and this is a lighter box. Heavier box is pressing the ground with a greater force. Lighter box is pressing the ground with lesser force. So there will be more interlocking in this case, lesser interlocking in this case. So friction will be more for heavier box. Friction will be less for a lighter box. But heavy or light is in terms of weights of the boxes. Then why should we write normal reaction? Because children, in higher classes you will learn that weight of the body is balanced by normal reaction whenever we talk about the conditions where the surface is horizontal and the entire condition, the entire object or the frame is not moving or is not accelerating. I should not go into the details, but suppose this heavy box is lying on the surface in a lift and the lift is moving with an increasing speed in upward direction. Increasing speed in the upward direction. In such a case, what will happen? The box will appear heavier to us. Heavier लगेगा, भारी लगेगा. अगर भारी लगेगा तो इसका मतलब ये है कि इंटरलॉकिंग भी बढ़ जाएगी. इंटरलॉकिंग अगर बढ़ जाएगी तो फ्रिक्शन भी बढ़ जाएगा. तो इसलिए ऐसे वाले कंडीशंस में वेट मैटर नहीं करता, नॉर्मल रिएक्शन मैटर करता है. और इस चीज को हम अभी इस क्लास में नहीं टच करेंगे. जस्ट टू गिव यू द राइट वर्ड आई हैव रिटन नॉर्मल रिएक्शन, बट फॉर योर कंडीशन यू कैन ऑल्सो यूज वेट ऑफ द बॉडी. हाउ हैवी द बॉडी इज, weight of the body or weight of the object. So just to clarify, because these things should not be mistakenly understood. So I've just written these all things. Normal reaction is the first factor. दूसरा factor है smoothness and nature of surfaces in contact. Nature of surfaces. Suppose एक wooden box है, उसको आपने wooden surface पर ही रख दिया. Suppose this surface is also wood and the object that you have kept over it is also wood. So there will be some friction between them. Then suppose you keep this wooden box on glass. What do you expect? The friction will be lesser in case of wood placed over the glass. Why? Because the surfaces are different. But what if you polish this wooden surface? आप अगर इस wooden surface को बहुत अच्छी तरह से पॉलिश करके स्मूथ ग्लास फिनिश दे देते हैं, तो हो सकता है कि फर्स्ट और सेकंड कंडीशन में आपको फ्रिक्शन सेम मिल जाए. तो व्हाई वी आर डिस्कसिंग दिस इज बिकॉज फ्रिक्शन डिपेंड्स अपॉन स्मूथनेस ऑफ द सर्फेसेस. अगर हमारी सर्फेसेस को हम बहुत ज्यादा स्मूथ कर देते हैं तो फ्रिक्शन चेंज हो जाता है और नेचर ऑफ सर्फेसेस पर भी डिपेंड करता है. एक और एक्सेप्शन इसमें यह है कि अगर हम सर्फेसेस को एक्सेप्शनली स्मूथ कर देते हैं तो फ्रिक्शन इंक्रीज हो जाता है, क्योंकि जो सर्फेसेस है उन दोनों के बीच में इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक फोर्स ऑफ अट्रैक्शन इतना ज्यादा बढ़ जाता है कि सर्फेसेस को सेपरेट करना मुश्किल हो जाता है. सो इट बिकम्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट इन दैट केस इफ द सर्फेसेस आर एक्सट्रीमली स्मूथली पॉलिश्ड. But we are not going into exceptions. We are just taking the factors that affect force of friction. So you have to learn these two factors. One is, you can learn this one for your convenience, weight of the body. That is how hard the body is pressing the surface. Second one is smoothness and nature of surfaces in contact. So this much we will be doing in this class today. Next topic we will be taking